Tigran, 777. Okay. See how we do. Time for c5. All right, Tigran has beat me twice before. Let's see if I can get some revenge. Oh, yeah, this is what I meant to play. I was confused for a second, but yeah, I'm playing a mainline Sicilian, open Sicilian. Haven't made any mistakes yet. I like to play the classical version with the knight here. You can also play there. That's the knight for here. That's the dragon. Or here is the Scheveningen. Okay. So he just played the f3, which indicates he's going for a English attack type of setup. So let's kick the knight. Emphasize the hole on f4. And the way I play this, I go for an early d5. That's rare. I go for an early d4 to d6 to d5. And he's just prevented that. Now if I take, he takes back. If I take with the knight, he takes back and forks my two pieces. So I would have to take with the bishop if I wanted to take it. If I develop this bishop, then the knight can take here or here, and either way, it's a bit uncomfortable. What I can do is, let's see, I could move the bishop back. I think what I'd rather do is just take with the bishop. I think that's simplest, and then I'll have to reposition this knight. Can it go here? Yeah, there's no immediate check. There's a bishop check. I mean, the queen check to win the knight is not happening, but the bishop check here is a bit annoying because the king has nowhere to run. Okay, yeah, I'll just go back this way, reposition my knight around. It's funny, I've played this opening a lot, and that's the first time I've seen that move. It might be interesting to look at it in the chess engine, with the chess engine after the game. Might be a hole in my opening repertoire. Okay, so I wanted to get the knight out here. Going to develop my bishop and get castled. And because there's a pawn here, my weak pawn on d6 is not really weak, it's protected. So I think things are fine here. I can develop my knight, attack the center pawn. Let's do it now because this will give this knight a place to go if he pushes his pawn forward. So he defends. Let's bring a rook to the c-file. Okay, let's bring my queen out then. This c5 square might be a good square for my knight. He'll probably just trade it off, of course. I would say one defect in my position is I have a weak bishop blocked in by my pawn, so maybe thinking of ways to deal with that. Now he just wants to go for the endgame. That's a pretty dull way to play. Let's bring the knight around. I mean, he's done this aggressive pawn storm type thing. I don't quite understand why he would suddenly switch to an endgame. This is like more of a middle game strategy. Okay, he's got this defended. Let's see, maybe there's some way I can distract his bishop. Let's open up some lines for my rooks anyway. Oh, I can develop my bishop and distract his rook maybe. Yeah, seems like he's a fan of the endgame here. That's my impression so far. He likes playing the endgame. Usually I do pretty well in the endgame, but I've lost to him twice before, so maybe he's got some tricks I don't know about. Anyway, I got my bishop outside the pawn chain. That looks good. Let's see. So I could go with the knight to here, hitting this pawn and looking at this good square here. Let's take here first. Get rid of one pair of rooks. And let's bring the knight around. So I'm hitting the rook and I'm hitting his pawn here. He went back to defend. I can go here with the knight. Of course, I can do that anytime. Let's hit the pawn. And let's see, his knight is loose here, so that means I can play this, right? I mean, his rook is loose. He can't take. I'll take his rook. So he's just going to allow the pawn trade, or maybe he wants to get his knight into this square. I mean, this is a good square for his knight too. Yep, he just goes there. So I push. He is hitting this pawn. He's hitting this pawn and he's also looking at the fork. So let's defend the pawn and the fork this way. He's going to fork my king and rook. That would have been unfortunate. It would have been game over. Okay, so let's bring the knight back. So it's an even game, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Probably time to activate my king. Kicks my knight. I didn't like the knight on that good square. Okay. So where can I go? Bounce around this way. Okay, I step up here. He's got a check here. Oh, it's not a problem, I guess. Can always go back here with the knight. I see. He's going to try and make a passed pawn here. Maybe I should have put my knight back immediately. But, well, let's do it now. This will help guard this square against the passed pawn. And I'm hitting here. Anyway, I'm just going to bring my king up and attack those kingside pawns. He's trying to get something going with his queenside pawns. Let's see if he succeeds. Your opponent left the game. Well, I would say it's about even. It's unfortunate there's no way to claim a draw. Your choice is to win on time here or resign to lose. I don't want to lose. Ah, there he goes. He moved. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I'm stepping up here with the king, getting away from checks from that knight. And we're gonna blockade that pawn. So I'm glad I put the king up here now, because otherwise, moves like knight here would be very annoying. But at the moment, I always have this. Let's go ahead and take. Okay. Now I can check me, but it's not going to lead to anything, I don't think. Okay, we're going to blockade his pawns there. Oh, he just wanted to take my pawn. Okay. Makes sense. I think I need to activate my rook here. Got to be careful, but it seems to be what's in order here. Yeah, his bishop is controlling that square. That's a problem, huh? Okay, what to do then? Just shuffle my pieces back and forth. Knight can go here with check, but then where does it go from there? Okay, we will get a draw here. I think this is a drawn position, and then we will check out the opening. So I think a draw is a fair result. And I did want to check out this opening. Well, first, let's make sure it's a draw. Yeah, 0.1. Let's go back up before I started the repetition. So here, yeah, negative 0.1. So definitely in the final position when I went for the draw. It was even. So going back to the beginning, this is a normal Sicilian. This is a classical Sicilian. When they play f3, which is not the most accurate move here, actually. Usually, yeah, the bishop move is more aggressive and interesting. But it's very common. And so I've come up with e5. Yeah, and you see it's recommended here. This is kind of an interesting way to play. He goes back, and then I went bishop there. So this is okay still. He goes here, and my move, I should allow him to take the bishop. Wow, this seems counterintuitive to me. What if he just takes? I guess I have a lot of development. He goes here, and I castle. And there's no pressure on this pawn. Okay, I will just do that next time. So the way I played it was to take there, and this is slightly good for white. So yeah, I gave him a little too much, but still within the range of about even, and I managed to hold the game. So interesting first game. Let's see if we can get a rapid game here. Sempre Verde. Okay, starts with knight f3. I like to respond in kind. Just respond symmetrically and see what kind of setup white is going for. Oh, look at the rating, 2100. Well, if I win, it'll be a chance to boost my rating a little. Because he could be going for a King's Indian setup. He could be going for just another way to get into a Queen's Pawn opening, or he could be going for an English opening. Those are common follow-ups. So this is kind of an asking move, saying what's your setup? It's a useful move in any of those situations. And then once he's moved a pawn, I'll have some better idea of what he's trying to do. He moves another knight. Okay, he's saying, oh, I need to commit. Okay, let's go with the fianchetto. So when he sees that, he plays e4. Play e5. Oh, he can take it. This might not be such a great game. You don't play e5 when your opponent can just take it. I should have played d6. Well, he's thinking about it. Is there a trick here? I mean, I moved it so confidently. I scared him off. I'll gain a tempo or two chasing the knight, you know. It's not like game over. It's like a gambit that's not very good. But I'll develop my bishop, castle, and put a rook on the open e-file, right? It'll be different from whatever he had planned for sure. Or he could ignore it. He could play d3 or g3, and or he could play that. So he really wants to get in e5, huh? So if I take, he takes, I'll take back with the queen. He can check me here. It doesn't seem fatal. Is his dark squared bishop going to do something? His dark squared bishop could come here, hitting my queen, but I could go here. Don't see any reason why I shouldn't take. So yeah, bishop here, yeah, looks, he saw that. But I thought, you know, I'd just go here with check. And get ready to castle. And even if he takes this pawn back, actually he can't take it now because he takes, I take with check. So my bad gambit has paid off here. This is kind of an interesting lesson in chess psychology, I guess. I mean, assuming this is his real rating and he's not sandbagging in some way, or what's the opposite of sandbagging? I don't know. Assuming he's not overrated, then normally he would be doing very well in his opening. But yeah, if he takes the pawn, then I take with check and pick up the rook in the corner, or at least the exchange. See, the queen takes back, it'll be hitting this rook, so may have to be a bit careful. Yeah, let's just go ahead and castle. Just what I would do. Yeah, maybe picking up, giving the check, forcing his king to move, and then retreating the bishop would have been better than taking the rook and giving up the dark squared bishop and inviting the queen on this diagonal, because he would have the queen there and the bishop there looking at my king side, with these pawns cleared out. Might have been a bit dangerous, right? He could potentially hop the bishop in there. So, but he didn't want to allow that anyway. Okay, so I need to get my queen side developed here. Probably pawn to d4. I should, I suppose, first look at rook to e8. Pawn to d5, I meant. Rook to e8 threatens here, but he will just defend it. Yeah, I like this. I was thinking of developing the knight, but on the other hand, he may want to start chasing my queen around, and having a knight here would kind of restrict the queen's motion, right? If he gains control of this file, his bishop is slicing through here. The queen could run short of spaces, and it wants to get off of this diagonal so this bishop can develop. Yeah, there's the rook. I was expecting that. So I don't want to put a rook here because he could maybe chase my queen away and take the rook. Although the queen, if it went here. Okay, well, let's look. Make sure he doesn't have any great moves with his bishop. There. He does have some interesting moves with his bishop. Could just step aside here. So I get out. I get out from under. Get off the diagonal of the bishop. The light squared bishop, and so my bishop can develop. His bishop can't come here and kick me. Could come here. When he when he moves his bishop away, he will be threatening bishop here. Something to worry about. I could counter that with bishop here, and then this bishop here would not be defended. Okay, what you got? Semper Verde. Well, he's taking his time. Maybe he gets better towards the end of the game. He starts moving quicker. Okay, the knight can hit this square. Should I just develop my bishop? Yeah, I think I don't want the knight coming into this square. So I'm going to take a moment out to play that. He's still not threatening this skewer yet, or this one. Skewer. It's not exactly a skewer, but he's not threatening to chase my queen just yet or win the exchange here, as long as this bishop is in the way. So I guess the idea is he moves the bishop now, and I block, like I was saying. He can trade it off, and maybe that's a unfavorable exchange for me. Although it's trading a developed piece for an undeveloped one, so can't be too bad. Okay, the bishop went there to attack this pawn. And also there's that threat that I was talking about. Bishop here forking queen and the rook. So this was my intended answer. Would have been better to be able to put the rook here, but he could just take it. So it wouldn't work at all. I need to get my knight off the back rank. I was hoping to kick his knight and then develop my knight, but maybe I don't have time for that. Okay, developed his queen, so let's kick his knight. Went back that way. Oh, so he chose not to go after my bishop here. Interesting. So yeah, let's get my last piece developed here. So I'm thinking knight here is good. Trade off that light squared bishop. And, you know, just bringing my rooks to the center generally. Rook here to get away from that fork. And then maybe the other rook somewhere. It depends on where this bishop is. And another possibility is f6, chasing that bishop away. The bishop can, yeah, I was forgetting some things. The bishop can get to this square now. But now I can drop back behind the behind my light squared bishop, so it's not a big deal. Let's see, knight here is interesting. Let's erase those colors. Knight here hits the queen, hits the pawn. Okay, he's just taking there. And he's piling up on this pawn. So rather than trade that, let's see, if I move the knight here now, he could pin it, but I take here with check. If I move the knight here, he could take this pawn, but then I take his queen. The queen can't take the pawn because I take with the bishop. So knight here, queen moves, knight here, check. Probably queen takes back. And then there's just 2 attackers and 2 defenders here. Knight here is possible. The queen has to move to somewhere that defends the knight. Here or here. Here, because queen also has to defend this pawn. But that seems to be an adequate move. Knight here, queen here. Is there something there? I'm not quite seeing it. Okay, so we'll go with knight here. This knight is kind of pinned because there is still a rook in the corner. Maybe there's some way to exploit that. This pawn up and up. Kind of slow motion. He has enough time to find out if there was a better way to get immediate pressure on that knight. That would be cool. Wow, he's really using up his time now. 15 seconds. Oh, just give up the exchange. Okay. But then I have this pressure on the diagonal. He defends there. Okay. So if I kick the queen, I think he's in trouble. Yeah, I think he made a bad move in time pressure. Oh, he can take here now because the bishop is not defending it, but he loses. No, he doesn't lose the knight. He doesn't. I made a bad move. So he's got queen takes here. He didn't play it. In that case, let's go ahead and kick that knight. Now, let's go back here and defend this pawn. Now the knight can hop here. Yeah. Okay. Let's not defend that pawn. Let's do this. Yeah, so he's good at making fast moves. He's trying to force my queen into a unfortunate position here. Say that the knight forks here and here were pretty nasty. Okay, I'm going to allow another draw because I don't see anything better at this moment. And I don't want to lose just because he's playing fast and finding some good moves here. Let's see. So what should I have played here? It's a draw. Let's go back to when he first played this. His very first move. I went here. He went here. This is good for me. I should play queen to d7. I thought queen d7 he would play here. This is 2 pieces for a rook. I was just seeing I was losing the exchange there. So after queen d7, yeah, so I should play queen d7 here. He should bring in the rook. I can bring my queen out here. And I can bring my rook out. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I am a pawn up, and so this gives me a minus 1.7 advantage. So I guess that's about accurate. And I could have, if I had found those moves, continued to play for a win. But I don't know, maybe I was a little intimidated by his rating, and I took the draw. But also, yeah, I don't like it when my opponent gets in time trouble, because my opponent is moving really quickly, which means I don't get to think on my opponent's time. I have to use up all my own time, and I've lost games like that where I'm winning and I have more time, and my opponent gets in time trouble and starts moving really fast, and then I end up losing. So I was trying to avoid that worst case scenario. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed these games. I'll see you next time. Bye now.